Hello YouTube viewers, and welcome back to Go Figure Customs YouTube channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. That's because I am still working overseas. I started doing this when I put this channel together. I was working in Ukraine, and then I was in West Africa. Now I'm in South America, and my internet connection in South America was horrible. Basically only had access to the internet on the company computer, so there was not a lot I could do. Even if I could hook my computer up, the internet was on a satellite because I was offshore, so I wouldn't have been able to upload content to the YouTube channel anyway. So sorry that it's been so long since I've done a video, but one of the great things about coming home is there's always a pile of loot waiting for me when I get home. So today will be, well, I was going to mention that today's the 14th, so it was supposed to be the street date for the 6-inch G.I. Joe guys, the Target exclusive 6-inch G.I. Joe guys. So just out of curiosity, because a couple of buddies of mine want some of those figures, I went to Target and there were 6 other guys waiting in line for nothing. They didn't have anything. Didn't have anything in the back, nothing. Although I did get the Aliens Rhino Alien, which I am going to review and unbox on one of the videos that I'm going to do today. So, you know, I really can do without the 6-inch G.I. Joe guys, but I've got a lot of friends that are really into this, and I do feel really bad for them. Me, on the other hand, I am still happy with my Joytoy figures coming out because I've got shipping notices on like 4 or 5 new sets, so those will be coming shortly. And then I've got 2 that were shipped to me while I was away. And that's what I'm going to be reviewing in the first video. So the first one is Blackhawkz Fleet. I think that's supposed to be a plural. So it's unboxing. There's like a shrink wrap on this, which is really weird. So I'm going to take that off here real quick. All right. I'll also be uploading a couple of episodes of General Geekery when I get a chance. JD and I did a episode with one of our friends from fellow collectors from France. We did that my last day of quarantine. I was not able to edit and get that video uploaded to the YouTube channel in time before I left, and then I obviously couldn't do it while I was in Guyana. So that will be coming, and then JD and I are still doing our customizing contest video for General Geekery. He has his figures done, I think. Excuse me, I have one of mine completed before I left. The card is at the printer right now as we speak. As soon as I shoot these videos, I'm going to go pick them up and make the card for it. And then I'm going to start working on the second figure for the customizing challenge. And I think, with any luck, JD will be visiting Sovereign Hatchistan the first part of September. So we may be pushing back the customizing challenge reveal until he gets here, so we can do that like sitting side by side. I think that would be a fantastic video. Anyway, we've got the pack here, window box. It says "Battle for the Stars." I'm guessing that's what that is. Writing is on the top in the Chinese, and then it says Blackhawkz Fleet. So I'm going to call these the Blackhawk guys. Usual, yeah, Blackhawk on the side and Joytoy logo on the other side. A nice window box. I think I'm going to keep these window boxes just for potentially doing custom box sets. Mine are kind of a little beat up. Not too bad. I think Locker Toys is just sticking these in a bubble mailer and mailing them to me. I had my wife open these so she could show me what I got, so I don't really know what the packaging was like. I don't think these came in a box. I don't particularly care, since they get it to me in like 3 days from Hong Kong. I'm willing to take some dings and dents in a box for that, because I don't keep these things in the box. I do usually review packaging. That's one of the 3 things that I like to touch on all my figure reviews. And this, I have to say, out of all of the packaging that Joytoy has done so far, for if you're a mint and box collector, which I kind of am, I'm kind of not, depends on the specific toy. Because I like to take, there's definitely stuff that I want to open the second I get it. There's definitely stuff that I get and leave it in the box. Exclusives, convention exclusive stuff like that, that usually stays in the box or on the card. But this is the first packaging that I've seen that really kind of, I won't say it's geared towards that niche, but it fills that niche very well. It's nice, nice plastic window box. The graphics are nice on it. The graphic art's nice on it. You know, like I said, mine's dinged up from shipping, but I'll tell you what, 3 days from Hong Kong usually takes a month to get stuff from China, so I really don't care. But the packaging is top notch on this. If you like keeping stuff in a box, Joytoy has finally scratched that itch. So we're gonna open these up. It doesn't look like there's any kind of insert with these. Looks like a triple layer. Oh no, there is an insert in there. All right. That's what I like about figures from China, or Japan for that matter. Anywhere Far East like that, you get a toy and it's got 2 pieces of Scotch tape holding it closed. You buy a toy here in the United States and it's got 15 twist ties holding it in there that you need a master's degree in engineering to get it out of the box. So we'll take off the lid, and here are the guys. Let's see if we can get it. Whoop! Probably should have left those guys in there, or the lid on. But we'll look at them a little closer here in a minute. All right. Take the first guy out. All right, let's see what we got here. He's got kind of a mohawk, shaved head, screaming face. I'm not particularly keen on the screaming faces myself, but I don't know. Shoulder pads, elbow pads. He's got a belt with like the semi-functional carabiners, which I think is awesome. I don't know why nobody thought of that before. We got a removable scarf, and then body armor, and then he's got some magazine pouches on that body armor that are sculpted on, and then the usual thigh pads with a holster. There does not appear to be a pistol in there. There are pistols with him though, so we'll get into the weapons here in a minute. And then thigh pads, and then the knee pads look like they're part of the knee. There's toe articulation. It is the standard buck, although I think the legs, we're getting a little closer as to being able to sit down. Not quite there yet. I've seen some of the next wave of figures and they sit really well. But I mean, this is pretty close. You know what? Let's see if we got a vehicle sitting handy here. What do we got here that's handy? I got a G.I. Joe Demon handy. Let's have a look at that and see how well they fit in there. I restored this last time I was home. Really happy with how it came out. I need to get decals for it still. He's a little big for it, actually, with the belt. He doesn't quite fit in there. I think the gear is what's holding us up here. I don't think it's the articulation. It doesn't quite sit in there. We're getting closer though. Yeah, he didn't quite sit in there. We're getting closer. I think some of the pictures that I've seen from, I don't think it's this one, but the next wave of figures that are coming out, I've seen pictures of them in a G.I. Joe hammer, I think, and they fit very well in there. Or it might be one of the like retaliation vamps, and they fit really nicely in that. All right, so that is that particular figure. Let's get his gear out. Hear my puppy running around behind me. She's happy to see me home. I got home last night. I got back in country day before, but thanks to all the decreased travel ability, I was not able, I had to stay in Houston an extra night because I couldn't get a flight home. Okay, I really like the packaging on these. Throw up my glasses here. So we've got removable helmets, which are really nice. I really like the sculpt on that helmet. It's a very sci-fi. It's a little tight on the helmet, actually. And then we got a piece of tape holding the pistols in. Here, I gotta just take an X-Acto knife and cut the tape off. Very military sci-fi look to it, and I am a very big fan of realistic military stuff. Obviously, I mean, if you're watching this, you're familiar with my customs, and you've seen like my Navy SEALs and my realistic G.I. Joes, but one of my other big passions is military sci-fi. So like Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein. I absolutely love the Altered Carbon books. I'm not a big fan of the Netflix series. I am one of those guys that usually prefers the books to the movies. I know that's kind of cliche, but there it is. But they're fantastic books. But military science fiction is definitely one of my guilty pleasures. So having military, like sci-fi military action figures is fantastic. Okay. The joints on these are good so far, from what I can tell. They're not too stiff and they're not too loose. I took a bunch of my guys with me just to have something to play with while I was gone my last rotation, and I noticed two things. One of the single boxed figures, the joints were really loose on him, especially the hip joints, and I had put a little bit of clear nail polish in there to kind of tighten up that gap, and it really didn't help much. And then on some of the newer, there were some of the PLA sets, the joints around the shoulder and the elbows, the articulation is kind of limited based on where the pads sit. So it's not that they have decreased articulation, it's just where it's kind of decreased depending on where your protective gear is sitting. If you're gonna move that, I am gonna recommend that you do heat that up, because it will make it a lot easier. The possibility exists to tear this stuff because it's really soft plastic. So if you need to move the move pads to get your articulation back, heat it up first. It'll save you. It'll make it a lot easier to move it, and it will mold a lot easier to where you move it to, and it will prevent it from being damaged. Where the pads are sitting on this guy seem to be fine. His articulation is not limited at all. I really like the color scheme on this. It's a kind of a dark gray. Goddamn dogs. tell you what. And then we've got, it kind of looks like a modified vector rifle. I really like that sculpt. I know it's not a particularly good weapon, but I really like that sculpt on that. I think that is a fantastic looking gun. It's a nice blend of like realistic and yet sci-fi at the same time. I'm gonna have to yell at my dog here in a second to tell her to shut up. She's probably barking at the delivery guy, although I think the wife's out front watering the lawn. So there he is, all geared up with his helmet. We got the rifle there, and we got a pistol. Articulation is fantastic on these things. Like I was saying, I really like the color scheme, that kind of darkish gray with the like gunmetal armor. Looks really nice. These are fantastic figures. I don't see any obvious flaws on this, no paint app problems. Yeah, they're just blown away every time. Number one, that, you know, they're basically using the same buck. I mean, it's, when it really comes down to it, it's just a repaint of the same figure over and over and over again. But they're fantastic figures, and the accessories makes it real easy to look past the fact that it's the same figure over and over again. And I'll tell you what, I will keep buying these things. As long as they keep making them, I will keep buying them, because they are fantastic figures. They're fun to play with. They're highly articulated. The equipment that they come with is fantastic. It really is second to none on these figures. I know that a lot of people think that they're too expensive, but I'll tell you what, when you get these in hand, you know where your money went. There is no doubt about that. The color scheme kind of reminds me of the Gears of War figures that came out, and there was a 3 3/4 inch line of those Gears of War figures. But they're, to me, it's like if the Gears of War figures were slimmed down, that's what these guys would be. All right, here's the second guy. I've kind of lost track on if these are new head sculpts or not. So I don't know if these are new head sculpts or not, to be honest. You know, a lot of the figures that have been coming out have been the PLA, which is obviously People's Liberation Army, so it's Chinese, so it's supposed to be Chinese army. A lot of those guys don't look Oriental, and none of the guys in this set appear to be. They don't look Oriental. These are all Caucasian guys, which I think lends itself well to these. You know, it's one of the things that I noticed about the new G.I. Joe retro line. So it's not a real American hero anymore. The language on the cards are there's 5 different languages. So they're really marketing these to the world instead of America like they used to do, which I think is, I have mixed feelings about that. We'll get into that on another episode of General Geekery. But that's what's nice about these figures is they're not patched. So I mean, they don't have flag patches. So they're not, these guys don't have to be American. They're generic enough that no matter where you live, these guys could be the military figures from your particular country, which I think is really nice for that. So yeah, it's the same sculpt, same pads, same equipment, same scarf, same belt. His elbow pad's on backwards there, or no, it's just rotated wrong. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. So the only difference between him and the guy next to us here is that it's a different head sculpt. Same weapon, same gun, and same helmet. So let's gear him up real quick. I don't remember what the cost. His helmet fits a little bit better than the other guys did. I think that Mohawk one doesn't fit too well because of that unique hairstyle. I kind of like the Mohawk, but I'm not a real big fan of the screaming face. I think it would be a good one for like a World War II, like paratrooper, like D-Day paratrooper would be really cool, used for that particular head. And I did see Joytoy is going to be doing some World War II figures this year. I'm kind of on the fence about that. World War II, I am a history buff, so I do enjoy World War II history, but don't really have much use for World War II figures. I have a couple customs that I want to do, so I probably will get a set of them. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided. I know there will be fantastic figures just because everything that I've gotten from Joytoy in the last year and a half now, maybe, has been top notch. So I'm not worried about getting poor quality. It's just that it's not really my cup of tea. So there's the second guy. Same. The only difference between him and the other guy in the set is that is the head sculpt. I really like that helmet. I think that's kind of about the only thing that I would like to see Joytoy do from what they have, not what they have done, but what they haven't done. If you remember from like the Real American Hero line of G.I. Joe, they put out, I think maybe 5 or 6 accessory packs. So they took some of the more popular weapons and recast them in different colors and then put them in a pack. They did that with vehicle missiles too. So there's one that had like Snowcat missiles, and I don't remember what all came with the vehicle accessory packs, but I would like to see some accessory packs for the Joytoy figures, just because I would like to have some of the equipment for customs, and I don't really necessarily want to buy another set of figures just for the gear. They are, like I said, they're kind of pricey. For one set, it's not a big deal for me. I'm willing to fork out that extra money just to have awesome figures to play with. But for customs, I'm kind of not quite there yet, buying these sets just to customize yet. Although I'm getting pretty close, I have to say, between the 6-inch G.I. Joe guys and the disappointment, my disappointment with the G.I. Joe retro line, I'm pretty much done collecting G.I. Joe. I'm getting some of the vintage stuff, but that I still want, that I don't have. But as far as new G.I. Joe stuff, it's just not there. This more than makes up for it, in my opinion, though. I do miss the characterization and the backstory of the G.I. Joe stuff, but as far as military, like realistic military figures, this is what I have always wanted. So, we got the nice, Navy SEAL figures. So I got the realistic military, and now I've got a nice like science fiction military line to go with these guys. This scratches every itch that I need in a 4-inch, 3 3/4 inch, 1/18 scale inch figure line. So, do I really need G.I. Joe anymore? Not so much. Not with these guys. These guys fill that niche fantastic. Third guy in the set. Again, the only difference here is the head sculpt. I really wish I could get this to focus a little bit better. And then, everything else is the same on him. So, 3 things I usually hit on during figure reviews: packaging. Packaging for me on Joytoy stuff is a wash, no matter what the packaging looks like, because it's going to come out of the package. I do not get these to keep in the package. However, I will give a higher review to the packaging on this particular one, because like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are a mint and box collector and you like to have stuff on display on your shelf, still in the box, I think this is definitely like the first set that really scratches that itch. So kudos to that. Pistol. The pistol does seem to fit fairly well, albeit a little tight in the holster. I am going to remind you, if it is a little tight, put pressure at the bottom of the holster and then push your pistol in, so you don't just push from the top, because you're gonna rip your holster off your pad. The third figure also comes with this nice shield. I think this would be a cool shield for like a futuristic alley viper too. And then we've got two different. Are they two different? No, they're the same. So we've got two of the same handles, I guess I'll call those. So there's you can see the hole there. It pegs into the back. Fits on there pretty tightly, actually. I'm gonna push it on there, and then I like the plastic they're using for the mount. It's a little harder than some of the plastics, some of the other plastics, so it's going to retain its shape a little bit better, meaning when you clip it on your figure, it's going to stay on your figure. When they use softer plastics for stuff like this, a lot of times it'll expand and then it won't stay on your figure very well. So there he is with his shield. Already got his pistol. Helmet fits even better on the third figure than it did on the second one, certainly than the first one. I think that mohawk doesn't work too well with that helmet. And there's your, here, let me move these guys first. And there's your third figure. There's his shield. What does it say on there? Danger, do not touch is what's written on in the yellow and black lettering there. So, these could be like futuristic alley vipers. Man, the possibilities are endless with these. That's what I love about these things. They could be they go with if you're collecting like the Aliens line, they could be like Colonial Marines, Special Forces. They'd be anything you wanted. Articulation is good. We're not quite there on sitting down, so that is going to be my only detractor on the articulation. The playability is the next thing that I always talk about. One of the three things I always talk about: packaging, playability, and customizability. They don't quite sit down yet. That is the only thing that I have to say is not quite there on the Joytoy figures yet, is they can't quite sit down. So close. Customizability, man, it's just endless with these. The bucks are fantastic. The articulation's great. The equipment is fantastic. All the equipment is interchangeable. Again, I do recommend heating up the equipment with a blow dryer. I found the blow dryer works a lot quicker and a lot easier, and it's a lot more effective than boiling. I don't think the joints don't need to be softened up before you play with these on these, I don't think. But customizability is where I was going with that. Yeah, endless. And no paint needed because all the equipment's interchangeable. Or yeah, you can paint these up to be anything that you want them to be. You could paint them up in Cobra colors, and they could be futuristic Vipers. Honestly, the sky's the limit. It's your imagination is the limit on what you could do with customizing these things. military colors, camo patterns. It's endless, just endless, the amount of possibilities with this. Honestly, I have a hard time. I think one of the other reasons that I haven't gotten these to customize yet is because they are so fantastic straight out of the box. It's like, man, what am I going to do with this to make it better than how it is now? The paint apps are fantastic. The shading is fantastic. There's just, unless I had a specific custom in mind, just straight out of the box, these guys don't need to be customized. So, I mean, yeah, the customizing potential is there, but they just don't need it. So, yeah, the only detractor I'm going to say is they can't quite sit down in a vehicle yet. So, we're getting closer, and I know that Joytoy is working on that because I've seen, like, prototype pictures of them sitting in vehicles. So, I know that they will be doing, that they are working on that. And I think that's fantastic that they have listened to the fans and are working on that. So, do I recommend getting this particular set? Absolutely. I think this is. I won't say it's the best one because I don't know that I could pick a best set. But if you're just jumping into the line, this is definitely a good one to get because they come with a lot of gear, and it's just a fantastic set. I got these from Locker Toys. I think that's one of the cheapest places to get them. It's one of the most reliable places to get them. And shipping on these is just like 2 or 3 days to the United States because of the coronavirus. It was like one of the shipping companies, the only place that could get these out of Hong Kong to the United States. So they're expedient shipping. So aside from not quite being able to sit down in a vehicle, these are about as close to perfect figures as you're going to get. I really don't have much else to add to that, so I'm going to say thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun social media things, and stay tuned because I'm going to review the next set and in the next video. And then I've got the aliens, Rhino Alien video coming up, unboxing and review coming up here after that. So thanks for watching and stay tuned.